And as soon as recording starts, fantastic. So we're on, we're live. So hi, good day, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on your time zone. My name is Tomi, and I'll be welcoming you to the Securing Top-Tier Global Opportunities webinar by Titan R Consulting. So today, myself and Grace, my friend, will be taking you through how to prepare yourself to identify and grab those international opportunities, irrespective of your location. We will be debunking the common myths. We will teach you how to craft your CV and your resume. We'll walk you through the winning job strategy, and finally, explain what you need to do to interview like a pro. Please note that this session is being recorded and will be available to you participants after the event is over. And we hope that at the end of this session, you would have clear directions on what to do or what you need to do to land an international role in 2022. Grace, just to confirm, are you able to see the outline, or are you still seeing the initial first page?
I'm seeing the outline.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Great. So, well, I have to introduce myself, and then I'll get Grace to introduce herself. So my name is Tomi Abiodun, but I also go by the name Anu because of how powerful the meaning of Anu Lua is. It means the mercy of God. I'm the senior consultant and founder at Titan R Consulting, and I'm excited to be speaking to all of you today, as I'm really passionate about helping other people achieve their goals, whether it be career or academic. Briefly, I would say Titan R Consulting was born out of my desire to help others and ensure people do not make the same mistakes that I had made. Right now, Titan R Consulting's focus is split into two. The first is the graduate school admissions coaching, and the second is career services for both students and young professionals. Today's webinar, though, aligns mostly with the career services arm of Titan R, and I cannot wait to see you all achieve amazing things. Now, I'll hand off to my friend Grace to introduce herself.
Okay, thank you, Tomi. So my name is Grace Efezokhae. I'm originally from Nigeria, and I currently live in Canada, Ontario precisely. And I'm really excited to be here because one of my goals is to see like a lot of internationally trained professionals land very great global roles. And I moved to Canada in 2017. And when I came, I thought I had all the information I needed. And then when I moved here, I faced a lot of difficulties trying to like get the kind of roles that I really wanted, like the dream roles, you know, those kind of jobs that you're happy to say, oh, this is what I do. Like when you go for an event, like, oh, I work here and I do this, right? So it took me a whole lot of time to get that dream roles that I really wanted. And one of my goals has been to help as many newcomers to Canada, internationally trained professionals generally, on how to, so that when they move, when they want to get their global opportunity, they don't have to struggle like I did. They don't have to go through all these trial and errors. So that's why I'm here. And I call myself more of a career storyteller. I've helped over 50 professionals across the world with their resumes, how to communicate the value of your career on your resume and in interviewing and at networking events. And I'm so happy to see a lot of people land their great roles through my help based on all the things that I've learned. And I'm so excited to be here as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Grace. Thank you. One fun fact about Grace and I is that we go way back. We were classmates at Covenant where we studied accounting together, just so you guys know that. So why are we here today? I know when a couple of you got the invite and you got the post, you were actually really interested because you wanted to know, okay, securing global opportunities, we all talk about it, but why are we here? Now, most people, when they hear of global opportunities, they assume it's just for a select number of people. And I kind of get it, right? Because we see, oh, this person has this qualification and that qualification. Yeah, probably that's why they got their global opportunities. Well, that's actually not true, right? Because somebody has a lot of qualifications, a lot of things, and they have gotten that opportunity, doesn't mean the opportunity also doesn't exist for you. A lot of people, a whole lot, actually think it's impossible to get an international role from your home country. Well, we are here to tell you how possible it is, and teach you the things you need to do to prepare yourself to land those global roles. Because the truth is, those roles exist. They are there. They are for you. How exactly do you prepare yourself to ensure that once you have the opportunities to apply to those roles, you get it? Once you have the opportunities to interview, you land those jobs, because there's nothing more painful than seeing some opportunities and then trying severally and not being able to get it. Sometimes it discourages a whole lot of us and we just feel like it's beyond us. But we want to charge you today to change your mindset and try for things that look seemingly impossible. Because to be honest, really, impossibility is nothing. There's nothing that is impossible. Now, just to clear the air, yes, several ways to land global opportunities, different ways, right? And we're not here to tell you this is the only one way. A huge part of landing global opportunities is through education, through the graduate school route, which is what Tatana Consulting also focuses on, as I explained. However, we will not be talking about that today. If you would like to learn about the educational route, the graduate school route, please watch our webinar on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. It's called Accelerate Your Growth 2022. And then you can send us an email for one-on-one consultation to understand how we can help you and how you can leverage the educational route to actually advance and accelerate your career. Our focus today is on young professionals who are seeking to transition industries, roles, teams across countries in the world, but they don't know how to go about it. I understand that not everybody is interested in, oh, I want to go to grad school, I want to do a PhD, I want to do something. Some people just want to transition their careers. They want to move their careers from the location they are right now to another location. Well, this is the webinar for you. For some of us, we might have even heard about landing these opportunities. We might even have had friends, family members, colleagues that have tried, and we have also tried and failed. Well, this webinar will give you the knowledge that you seek. Please remember that you can ask questions in the chat box. Just type your questions in the chat box, and then we'll be happy to answer you. Before I hand over back to Grace, I would like to showcase some of the companies that our clients have landed interviews and offers from. This is just some, just a little bit of the companies. We've got offers and interviews from McKinsey, EY, Dell, Amazon, Google, Bank of America, Credit Suisse, JP Morgan, Microsoft, MasterCard, Salesforce, Lenovo, Barclays, Facebook, now Meta, American Express, Amgen, Johnson & Johnson, Evercore, ServiceNow, American Airlines, Next Era Energy, BlackRock, Eli Lilly, Riot Games, MasterCard, amongst others. Now, there are a lot more companies that our clients have gotten opportunities in. There are even a lot more companies that we haven't even reached, and we are so sure we are going to get there. So we're putting this out there to let you know that all of these things are possible. You can get there, you can attain it with the right information and the right preparation. So now I'll be handing over to my friend Grace for her to actually debunk some of the myths that we've all heard and people have all told us about regarding opportunities abroad. So Grace, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tomi. So I already start off with what Tomi said about having the right mindsets. So one thing I really noticed about, especially for African immigrants, I don't like the word immigrant actually, but let's say internationally trained professionals from Africa, when they come to, especially when they come to like developed countries like Canada, US, there's always this I'm just enough with the crumbs, not really crumbs per se, but like they don't really try to like want to achieve like really great things. They always feel like I have local experience. I just have experience from Nigeria. I just have experience from Ghana. So first thing before I into the meat, I like to say that first of all, that you are the value. Always remember that it starts from your mindset. If you have that mindset that I'm the value, I'm the spec, I'm also going to be of value to this particular organization as much as they're going to be a value to me as well. Or when you come into, or for example, you're moving from Nigeria to Canada, you need to have that mindset that your mindset everything starts from your mind. You need to understand that I am the value here. And Canada is going to be of value to me. I'm also going to be of value to Canada. Because for example, if you move here, you're going to pay taxes. There isn't your tax, all the money that you're going to be working for, right? They're going to use those to pay taxes for like old people here. So you need to make sure that you're getting as much value as as you want, right? As the country is also getting from you. So first thing is that you are the value. You need to have that mindset. Another myth I want to debunk is people always think, oh, if you want to move abroad or if you want to get a role abroad, it has to be in the medical field. I don't know where people get that information from. Another thing I like to emphasize is always try to get the right information. All this she said, they said is not information that is proven. Because when I ask somebody like, oh, I have to study to be a nurse so that I can make it abroad. And I ask them, why do you think so? It's always maybe, oh, my uncle said this, my friend said this. So try to work with accurate information that is proven, like facts, not just, oh, my friend said this, so I'm going to go ahead with it. Another thing I want you to say is debunk is people always think that they need to have foreign degrees or they need to have foreign work experience, or because I don't have an experience from UK, so I don't think I qualify. You qualify. I'm qualifying you now, like you actually qualify. And you need to, when you're talking about your experience, don't, so if you want to apply for like a role, maybe you're in Ghana right now, I want to apply for a role in the US, you don't have to really go to an interview and say, oh, my experience is Ghana, I have this Ghanaian experience. It's not just Ghanaian experience, you have global experience. So if you're in Canada, your experience is global. If you're in Nigeria, your experience is global. If you're in South Sudan, your experience is global. So you need to have that mindset that my experience is global. I'm bringing in diversity to this organization. Have that mindset. Another thing I like to emphasize is people always think they need to have certifications or multiple degrees. And I've seen that a lot with a lot of Africans. So you have 3 masters, 2 PhDs, in fact, double bachelors. And you think, oh, this is not, I have all these degrees and then nothing has really is going on well for me. Or most of them, you see the roles that they have is not exactly commensurate with the degrees and certification that you've acquired. And I'll go back to myself when I moved here to Canada. So I mean, I work in finance. I've always been in the finance space. And then I moved here, I said, without information. I just felt, oh, when I get there, I will wing it. And I moved here and I realized that people say, have you done, go and do this certification. By the time you do it like this, that bank that you want, they'll call you. So I was doing certifications up as like every year I was doing I was always doing exams. So you don't have to have those degrees. The most important thing is having the right information, right? And apart from having that right information, you need to be able to make sure that the information that you get is not just they said, she said, my uncle said, my auntie said, or my friend said I should do this. It's information that is facts. So people always think, oh, you have to be in medical degrees. People think, oh, I have to have a foreign degree or have to have foreign work experience. Another thing I've seen that people always think they must start from scratch. That's going to be the last one I'm going to, second to the last one I'm going to talk about. They think, oh, so for example, you have experience as a bank manager in Ghana, and let's say you are managing all the banks in Accra, for example, and then you now you want to apply for a job abroad and you think you have to start from an entry-level role. Like, please don't settle that easily, right? And then the last thing I'd like to say is, now tech is the in thing. Tech is like the rave. Everybody wants to be in tech. Everybody wants to be a tech bro or a tech sis. And you always think that you need to know how to code. There are so many roles that you have to do, right, that you don't have to know how to code. It's just about making sure that you have like the right information or the relevant information or correct information, not just based on hearsay or you saw a tweet and then you want to base your entire career decision on that tweet. So you need to debunk those minds. But even if you forget everything that I've said now about the myth, one thing you should always remember is that you are the value, and that you are the value, it's a constant. Whether you're in South Sudan, whether you're in Ghana, wherever it is that you are, you need to understand that you are the value, or whatever experience that you are gaining. Even if you went to the worst school in your country, your experience is global. Your experience is of value to any American company or any company, Finland, wherever it is. You need to understand that you are the value, and that's a constant. Yeah, over to you, Tomi.
Okay, so thank you so much for that, Grace. And I will be handing over to you again for you to teach us on how to craft a compelling CV, resume.
Okay. All right. So talking about the resume. So I'm a professional resume writer, and I've helped over 50 people so far, 50 professionals with their resumes. And one of the things that I really seen about resumes that people just think, so for example, like I said, I'm originally from Nigeria. You don't really have to really put in so much effort really on your CV. And then you bring that CV here abroad, and I'm asking, oh, let me see your resume. And then I see some people have like 10-page resume with 5 years work experience, or you see some resume that you just have a lot of bullet points without saying it. You just said a lot of things, but you've not communicated anything. And some people just have big, big words. I'm a go-getter, I'm a team player, there's so many things that I see. But one thing I always tell people is your resume, it's a marketing document. It's something that should be able to speak for you when you're not there. And if you're going to move into apply for jobs abroad, there's already the bias that, oh, this person is coming from Nigeria or this person is coming from Ghana. How do you counter those bias that they already have? So now, imagine that you go for like, if you watch, I like watching music shows, is it what do you call it? Music talent shows. So somebody will come and say, you want to sing You Are Beautiful by James Blunt. On YouTube, that song is like 5 minutes, but then they're going to give you maybe 30 seconds to show all your vocal, your vocal strength and everything. That's the time you now start saying you want to insist on having 5 minutes to sing the full song. You have just 30 seconds. And then that 30 seconds, you have to make sure that the part of the song that you sing is the one that's going to amplify your vocal strength or the vocal talents that you have. So your resume should be, you worked for 10 years, you worked for 15 years. How can you summarize that in a document and let people know that this is the value of what this person has done? And like I always say, your resume too is like an Instagram reel. If I go to, let's say I travel today to Japan and I want to show you a reel of my experience in Japan, I have a reel is just 60 seconds. How many minutes? So you're applying for a job, there are like 30 people that have applied or 30 resumes that have been streamlined for review. Nobody has time to be reading plenty things. Some of you already have like 10 pages already. So just a brief, like I need to look at your resume on the first page and have a glance of what your resume is about. And your resume should show like contributions of what you have done. What most people do on their resume or their CV, whatever you want to call it, is they had in a lot of job descriptions. So for example, if I want to apply for a job to teach SS3 students biology. If I go to that resume, as expected, people think, oh, she's going to teach SS3 students biology. So, but on your resume, you need to show contributions. You need to be able to quantify the things that you've contributed to your organization. And don't always think you have to have been like the most, maybe like you've won employee awards. Employee awards, yes. Maybe like you're the best in marketing. You don't have to have won all those great awards to have a great resume. You need to be able to tell your story. You need to be able to start with a great verb. Like instead of saying, I taught SS3 students, maybe contributed something. So all those action verbs, we're going to walk you through all those action verbs on your resume as well. Think about those great times. What do you really love about your job? You can say it, you can try and get a bullet point from that. Think about those difficult difficult project that you worked on and how you handled it. That would be a great thing for you to be able to tell your story on your resume. So think about all those great things. Your resume should actually show value, not just, if I look at a list of job description, it shouldn't be the same thing as what I'm seeing on your resume. So your resume has to be like, show contribution. And a lot of things are unnecessary things that you need to take out of your resume. I hate seeing primary school. You already have a bachelor's degree, you have a master's degree. There's no need why your primary school should be there. I've seen primary school, I've seen kindergarten, I've seen jam lesson, I've seen employer address. So you've worked at 10 companies and you're putting employer address. There's some unnecessary trainings that you need to take out of your resume. So you worked for a company, you did maybe interpersonal skills, and you put it on your resume. It doesn't really make sense, right? It doesn't show any value. So your resume has to show value. Always speak value. So avoid all those big words, like words that don't really say anything. You're a go-getter. What goals did you achieve for your company than saying you're a go-getter? Or results driven, goal oriented? There are just so many things. communicating value, because now you're a global, you have to have that global mindset that I'm competing with people from other countries as well. What value are you going to bring to the company? So that's what your resume should be able to tell you. And the last thing I will say about your resume is you don't need to have, I don't care how many years of experience you have. Your resume shouldn't go past 2 pages. Even 2 pages is a lot, but it shouldn't go past 2 pages. Some people already have 10 pages, 27 pages. You worked at a company for 2 years and you have 20 bullet points for one job that you spent 2 years at. So your resume is the first thing in this, your applying for securing global opportunities, is you need to apply with your resume or your CV, right? So your resume has to be able to communicate value. And we're going to show you how you can tell and communicate that story through this webinar and the next thing after the webinar. So Tomi, you can move to the next slide.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Grace. So the next slide, I will be speaking, and just to add to what Grace has said on the resume, something that is really very important, and she has said it a whole lot, is adding value. How to actually point that value is focusing on your achievements, the things that you did versus what people are just supposed to think you did. So your job description is what you should do. Your resume should have the things that you did. This is where you are able to talk about what you did differently from the way Tomi and Grace would have done it. And that's what makes you valuable. So you need to think through these bullet points that I'm going to write here, this job description. Instead of me focusing on the job description, I need to think about how did I do it differently? What are the skills? What are the functional keywords? What are the professional skills and attributes that I displayed when doing this task? That should be what is there. And your achievement must always be quantifiable. That's what is important here. You can't just say, oh, I achieved, it was successful. Like how? How do I quantify it? How do I measure it? You have to think about that in a way for you to measure. And don't worry, Grace and I have something for you guys after the webinar that would help you go deep into your resume and think through how exactly you can revamp all of your bullet points. Now, on our outlines, we spoke about the job strategy, the winning job strategy. How exactly do we develop a job strategy that works? One thing that I've seen is the reason why people struggle with landing the right jobs, even locally in their countries, is the lack of a holistic strategy. A lot of us don't even know that we need to have a job strategy.
You're on mute.
And have been speaking. Oh God. All right. Okay, I will just start again. So you didn't hear anything I said after Grace, right? After you spoke, like.
No, we actually heard, but at some point you just went on mute.
Oh, okay, that's strange. Okay. Okay, all right. So you heard about, Grace, you heard about the achievement stuff that I said on the resume,
yeah,
right?
The quantifying part, yes.
The quantifying part, okay.
Yeah.
So I would say one reason why most people struggle with landing the right jobs, whether locally in their country or internationally, is the lack of a holistic strategy. So a lot of us don't even know we need to have a job search strategy. And many don't even know what forms a strategy. We're not even aware. We're like, what is a strategy? Why do I need to have a strategy? Well, quickly, I'll be highlighting 4 parts of the job search strategy that you need to have. 1, you need an application strategy. 2, you need a resume strategy or CV strategy. 3, you need a networking strategy. And 4, you need an interviewing strategy. It's very important that your strategy is broken down into these 4 main areas. Now, your application strategy is like your all-up plan. And you should have a depth motion and a breadth motion. So depth is you going deep into a particular area, and breadth is you doing a whole lot of things. Your application strategy should be divided into 2. That's the only way you are going to be able to achieve optimal success. And when we talk about a strategy, you need to have the strategy documented. It's not just going to be all up in your head, right? For the depth strategy, this is where you identify the countries that you are interested in, right? And it's important for you to identify the countries because it's good for you to know, okay, what countries make it easy for me to get work authorization? Because there's some countries that you actually need to like be a student, or it's just so complicated to get that work authorization. While some countries is easier. We need to figure out, okay, what are those countries that we'll be targeting? We need to know the companies that you are interested in. Because for a depth strategy, which is a focus strategy, you're focusing on some certain areas. So you need to think about, what countries am I interested in? What companies am I interested in? And then we need to think about the roles that you're interested in. So what roles am I interested in? And then you would research, okay, companies that hire, you research companies that hire internationally, because there's some companies that don't hire internationally, because yes, you need to file like a work permit, and then to think through different process. So that's what forms your first strategy. Then you should ask questions and seek guidance from professionals to understand like the right countries to target, the companies to target. And that's why myself and Grace are here, if you want expert guidance on the strategy. Then you need to now research like companies in the industries that you're interested in. There are a whole lot of companies all around the world, and we don't even know all of the companies. So if you're interested in tech, for example, you're interested in consulting, how many consulting companies are you aware that exist outside of Nigeria? How many tech companies, apart from the large tech companies, are you aware that exist, right? Then you will now think through, well, what roles align perfectly to my background and my future interests? Because you need to know. Now, for your target companies, you will visit like a career page, you register, you create a job alert, so that when they post the type of jobs that you're interested in, you're the first person to know. It is very important for you to craft this strategy and work with it, as it allows you to be very focused and track your progress. You must be able to track your progress, because if you don't track your progress, then like it's difficult, because you wouldn't know what you have done. And that's why we have the depth focus motion, because you're not doing a whole lot of stuff. You just have, okay, maybe I want to focus on 20 companies, 25 companies. It's easier for you to track your progress with that strategy. But for the breadth motion, which is much larger, it's important to leverage platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed. And one good thing about Indeed is Indeed has a focus area in different countries. So there's Indeed UK, Indeed Canada, Indeed United States, Indeed Australia. So depending on the area you want to focus on, you have like Indeed or the job search platform that is most prevalent there. Now, I'm sure you're thinking through, I've explained what the depth motion is, and you're thinking, what exactly is the breadth motion? Well, the breadth motion means you have a non-company focused application strategy. That means you haven't kind of pre-identified companies. All you're just doing is, okay, we already leveraged the resume that we already prepared with great strategies, and we're applying to the type of roles that we're interested in, based off of the companies that are posted on the job site. So a lot of these, is not like we have pre-identified the companies. We just say, oh, I never heard of this company before, and they have like a business development role, which I'm interested in. Okay, I go ahead and apply. So having a great blend of the depth and breadth strategy ensures success. So that is for your application strategy. And know that if you want me to explain more, if you want to have a call, just send us a message and we'll be happy to schedule something with you. Now, the second one is the resume strategy. And I want to thank Grace for taking us through how to write a compelling resume or CV. But now that you have that resume, how exactly does it fit into your strategy? Now, this is where your strategy is even supposed to come ahead of the resume. So during your resume writing process, it's important that you identify the type of roles you are interested in landing and how those roles align with what you do presently. So for example, you need to do your research to understand what the equivalent titles of your present role is in the new country or industry you're targeting. So if you work in like customer service in Nigeria and you're targeting like a similar role in tech or in pharma, the equivalent will be something like customer success manager. Because if you write customer service officer, it's a little odd because they don't really have that title in the industry and the country that you are targeting. So you need to think through it and say, okay, maybe I've been working in a bank in Nigeria. Maybe I've been working in this particular type of industry in Tanzania, and I want to move to the UK. I want to move to Luxembourg. What exactly do they call that title in Luxembourg or in the UK? That's kind of what you should put. Another example is if you work in sales, the equivalent could be account executive, right? So you need to ensure that you do that research and align appropriately. And Google is your friend, literally. You can just type, oh, what are similar roles to customer service in London? And then you see those kind of titles and you pick, oh, okay, I think this aligns the most with the job that I'm doing right now. Also, you need to know like, okay, this is what is required from my job descriptions. And then you need to include some of those functional keywords present in the job description in your resume. So the job description of the job posting. And then you're like, oh, they're posting for like a customer service manager role. And you look at, oh, these are the things that are required to be successful in that role. You take some of those those points, and then you actually think through and say, how exactly have I displayed this in my present role? And find a way of including that in your resume. Now, thirdly, you have the networking strategy. Your networking strategy is very, very important. And it's something that is very strange for most of us, as we haven't had to network to get our present roles, especially those of us in Africa. Like, we just submit and then we don't have to network. However, to be successful in your international job search, you need to take networking as important as you would take the application, the resume, and the interviews. So LinkedIn is a great platform for you to network with people all around the world. Now, one quick tip, because I know that after this, you guys are going to be sending myself and Grace a lot of LinkedIn requests. Do not add people on LinkedIn who you do not know without adding a note. So for a lot of you on the call, I don't know you, right? If you're going to add me, it's good for you to add a note. An example of adding a note would be, oh, hi. Thank you, Tomi, for the webinar today. I joined the webinar. It was insightful. I would like to connect with you. Something like that, so that I know this is how you got to know me. This is why you're connecting with me. Personally, I don't accept people that do not add a note, right? And I know a lot of people would not too. So if you're thinking about networking, it's important for you to always include a short note, introducing yourself and why you want to connect with the person. That significantly increases your chances of being accepted, right? Then you can also find something that connects you with the person. It could be the person's university, the degree type, work experience. It could just be that, oh, this person studied accounting probably in Zambia, and I also studied accounting in Tanzania. That's actually something you can connect on. Oh, I see you studied accounting for undergrad. I'm also an accountant. I'd like to learn more about your career journey so far. That's a way to connect with somebody, because you're actually looking for interests between you and the person. Now, the best and easiest way to find people is to go to the company you are interested in on LinkedIn, because I'm sure a lot of you are thinking about, where do I get these people from? Well, quick tip, go to the company you're interested on LinkedIn, filter by the location, and then you can filter by the job roles. You will see like different people, and then you can just go through and connect. Now, I know that a lot of us are attracted to people that look like us, talk like us, are like us, but do not feel the need to only connect with people from your country. You need to expand your horizon, expand your thinking, right? And if you connect with somebody, person doesn't like accept you, or maybe like no hard feelings, like there are a lot of people, there are millions of people on LinkedIn. So you don't have to feel that, oh, this person didn't connect with me, this person didn't accept my request. Go ahead and talk to the other person, like nothing personal there. Now, finally, on the job search strategy that works is the interview strategy. If I ask now, how many people on here have an interview writing book? An interview writing book. I'm not sure we'll get a lot of hands. This is because most people do not prepare for interviews, and we just speak as things come to mind. First of all, that's a recipe for disaster if you want to land a good role, whether locally or internationally. It's important that you start preparing answers to your interview questions even before you land your interview. Now, I'm sure you guys are thinking, well, there's tons of interview questions. Well, you need to start writing them out. You need to start writing your answers, and you need to start doing a lot of mock interviews with professionals before your interview day. That's the only way to achieve success. So from the interview strategy point is, what kind of questions do they ask for the roles I'm interested in? How exactly can I write down my answers to those questions? That's what your interview strategy should be like. In the next and final segment, I'll take you through how to interview like a pro. Before I do that, I know we've got a couple of people that want to join. So let me just accept, and then I go back. Now, how to interview like a pro. I'll go through this pretty quickly. When we have interviews, we have different types of interviews. Like we have the behavioral interviews, we have the technical interviews, we have case interviews. One main thing, irrespective of the role you're thinking about, a behavioral interview is a huge part, very, very huge part of your interview process. For a lot of companies, behavioral interview is 100%. For some, it's 50-50. But your behavioral interview is a huge part. And no matter how technical you are or how great you are in getting the job done, if you're not able to tell your story the right way, you will keep getting dinged. For you to come up and tell your interview story, I will take you through what we call the STAR or the CAR framework. People call it STAR, people call it CAR, but I will call my own CAR. CAR as in CARL. The CAR framework is context for C, action for A, results for R, and L for learning point. So the context basically is the brief background. What exactly was the situation? What was the time? What were you doing at the time? What could possibly have gone wrong if you didn't take that step? Allowing the person that is interviewing you have insight as to what exactly was happening at that point. So it could be that, in 2019, I was the lead on this particular engagement. We had 35 people on the job and I had to do the following things. We're encountering these particular problems, giving us enough context so I can follow through your story, because I wasn't there when all of those things were going on. So there's no way I would know if you don't give me enough context. Then we now have your actions, right? So for your context, for the context part, you've spoken about the background, you've spoken about the challenge that you were facing at the point and what exactly you were supposed to do. But for your actions, you need to talk about the steps that you took to solve it. What exactly did you do? Why did you do those things? I'm somebody that I feel that you have to move away from, oh, this is what I did, to this is what I did, this is why I did it, and this is how it impacted. Think through it, because they want to see your thought process. They want to see the process flow in your mind. They're not just saying, oh, I just did this. Okay, why did you do it? Have you thought about why you did it? Then you now have the results. You should always have measurable results. Like I said in the resume, you must always have measurable results and achievements. What exactly was the outcome? Remember, you had context at the beginning. Your results have to be connected to the context, because you are showing results of the things that you did. Then we now have learning points. What did you learn from this experience? It's always important that when you tell your story, you must always include a learning point. Now, for your behavioral interview, I would always say, well, speaking for 2.5 minutes for every question is okay. There are some questions that take you much longer, depending on the company, which is something that we would go into at the next workshop that we're going to be proposing to you if you want to go deeper into like the behavioral interviews. But that's just what I would say for now. For the technical and case interviews, we're not going to be going into that for now, but depending on if you're interested in finance, marketing strategy, supply chain, there are different technical frameworks that you're supposed to learn and know for you to achieve success at those interviews. Now, I will take you through some sample interview questions, and I'll just take you through some answers so you have an idea. I will take you through the first one and the second and the third one. So when you tell some people, tell me about yourself, they just say, oh, my name is Ano, I'm from Lagos State, I'm the firstborn of my parents, I'm born again, and like nobody cares, like nobody really cares. Like, how exactly does that affect the company? For some people, you would see that, oh, where do you want to be in 5 years? Some people would say, oh, I would have left to start my own business. I'm like, wait, what? Or you would see, oh, I will be occupying a senior leadership position. Okay. You ask some people, why should we hire you? You will say, oh, I've always come first. I'm a hard worker. And based on my achievement, I'm confident I'll be a good addition to your company. All of those things are very, 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 very wrong answers. Like, wrong. You can never be more wrong. Because those questions do not align, those answers rather do not align with the reason why the interviewer asked you those questions. So I would give you like an answer for tell me about yourself. Now, please note that this answer is for an MBA candidate type answer, and your answer should be a little bit different, but just look at the flow. So this is, oh, hi, tell me about yourself. Oh, hi, thank you for this. I'm a second-year MBA student at Untitled Business School, and I'm passionate about helping people. My love to help guided my decision to have an undergraduate degree in accounting, because I believe then that accountants help businesses. This background propelled me to start a career in consulting because it afforded me the opportunity to impact lives and businesses on a larger scale. In my time at the consulting firm, I developed 3 skills. Firstly, I learned to lead with empathy. Secondly, I became more innovative as I learned to see the solution and not just the problem. Finally, I developed a growth mindset through the power of constructive feedback. As I advanced in my career, the need to have an MBA to achieve my long-term goals became more paramount, and I enrolled in the Untitled Business School. I understand for this role that you're hiring for, which is a senior business analyst role, you are seeking someone who is analytical and data-driven, and I believe my prior experience and passion for the industry will spur me to be very successful in this position. What I've done here is I took them through why I did the things that I did. This is the reason why I studied accounting. This is the reason why I decided to do consulting. These are the three main things that I gained from my role in consulting. Those three main things align a lot with what the company is actually interested in. So can you get the thing? That's how you're supposed to craft it. Then for the last one, where do you see yourself in 5 years? This question, I always break it into two because, 5 years is a long time. So the first one is, in the first 2 years, I see myself becoming a true expert and a master at my role as a senior financial analyst at Titanal Finance. I plan to leverage on my past experiences and skills to contribute intellectually, understand areas that can be improved on, really get to know the ins and outs of the business, and look for the opportunities to make the finance team and department as efficient as possible. For the 3 years after that, I see myself being a key personnel in the department and a liaison to all other teams in the organization. I want to be able to expand my expertise and offer help to other departments like sales, marketing, or operations, using the skills and knowledge gained from my role. Finally, I believe I'm who I am today due to the impact of my managers and mentors. Hence, I would want to be in the position of mentorship where I can coach and be a guide to other young professionals through seminars, training, and strong participation in the employee network and resource group. What I've done here is I've split, okay, this is what I want to be in 2 years. This is what I will have learned. Then 3 years after that, this is how I plan to contribute to the company. And apart from contributing to the company just professionally, this is how I plan to contribute as a mentor, as a guide. What that does is it shows the company that you are thinking about being there futuristically, not just thinking about being there for like a year or 3 months or 6 months. It actually shows that you are aware of the kind of impact that you want to make in the company, right? So, well, that is the end of the interview like a pro part of the webinar. And myself and Grace will be introducing you to our upcoming workshop.
Hey, Tomi.
Yeah?
Yeah, sorry, before you go into the, thank you. Before you go into the workshop, I wanted to just emphasize something.
Okay.
When you were talking about customer service to customer success manager, changing it from customer service to customer success on your resume. So one thing I would like to say is that you're trying to apply for global opportunities. Don't try to go with the wind. What I always advise is try and go to the roles you're interested in and the companies you're interested in. Go and check the job openings that they have. What are the nuances that they use? So for example, in Canada, they don't really talk about departments. It's always teams. I like teams. So if you're going to your resume, you're putting, I'm a departmental head. Somebody's like, what's departmental head? So you need to, we're not saying that you should overbloat your job title. So for example, you're an HR associate. You're not going to put that you were the head of people and culture, or you're the country head, people and culture. You need to just try to like understand the nuances. That's why doing a skill map or like a job map or whatever it is, those roles, do an Excel sheet. What are the key things? What are those keywords? Those are the things that should even be saying in your interviews, and also have them on your resumes. So like the team one, I've seen that a lot. Or somebody saying, I'm the head of accounts. In Canada, they don't really have any role that will tell you I'm the head of accounts or I'm the head of sales. You're a sales manager, not head of sales. So try to like do your research. Don't just go with the wind. Take a lot of research. Do a lot of research into the companies, the role, what are their nuances? How do they phrase their job titles? Look at the job description. You can even use like, there's this word, is it word cloud, thing? You can just put in the job description and see what are those keywords that jump at you. So that's what I wanted to say. And also make sure for your resume interview, make sure that if my resume should be able to, for example, let's say I'm coming from Nigeria, I shouldn't be having a resume and I'm saying that, oh, I was a sales manager and I handled departments across Kaduna and Gombe and Katsina. Nobody really knows all those states outside your country. So try and ensure that you put in like, oh, across 3 northern states. Everybody knows that there's north and south in everywhere in the world, right? So even for the in case if confidentiality allows you to put in like your project cost, like maybe handle a project of 100 million naira, try and ensure that you can put it in the context of the country you're applying to. How much is that in dollars? Nobody has time to go and start Googling, oh, what's 100 million in dollars? So try and ensure that you need to have a global mindset, and your resume should, look at your resume, give it to somebody else to review for you. Can somebody who is outside Nigeria know what I'm talking about? So that it means that what I wanted to really point out. So Tomi, you can go on.
Oh, thank you so much, Grace. That was really, really great. Thank you. So if you like the webinar today and you would like Grace and me to help you secure your international opportunity, we are extending you an invitation to an upcoming workshop. It's on the 30th of April this month, and it's a 4-hour coaching and hands-on workshop, right? Where we'll be working with you on crafting your own resume, developing your own job search strategy, and teach you how to tell your story right at the interview, right? You will leave the workshop with the right tools you actually need to achieve your own career goals. This is a group workshop, and you'll be in a cohort of between 10 to 20 people. If you're interested, please sign up with our bit.ly link, workshop Titan R, and sign up, and we'll be emailing you within the week to take you through like what the steps would be. Please note that this workshop is going to be paid, and it's going to cost $100, and you have opportunity to pay in your currency if your currency is not USD. Now, we offer one-on-one career services. So if you would prefer that, please email us and we'll kickstart our process. We hope you enjoyed the webinar today. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on IG, Titan R Consulting, and on Twitter. We're going to include the bit.ly link. My business manager, Uzo, is going to do that right now in the chat. So Uzo, please, can you include the bit.ly workshop Titan R in the chat link so people can sign up for the webinar? For the workshop. And we're going to be available for the next 10 minutes, 12 minutes actually, to answer questions. So if you want to ask questions, feel free to come off mute and ask your questions. If you don't want to come off mute, feel free to type your questions in the chat box. And I would be leaving our IG account, our Twitter account, email addresses, and YouTube title for you guys to contact us if you want. So we'll be waiting here to answer questions that you have. Well, resume review is a paid service. Yes, we can definitely give you like a one-step look and say, okay, this is how I think you should proceed with this. But if you want us to actually work with you to help you craft your bullet points, that's going to be a paid service.
I think 2 people have raised their hands up.
Okay. Ifeanyiwa, did you raise your hand?
I think or was it a mistake?
I know Toyosi did, so Toyosi, we can hear from you.
Yes, I raised my hand.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, this workshop, is it different from the pre-MBA workshop? Like, does this what do you call it? This workshop you just mentioned that is $100. Will it be included in the pre-MBA workshop?
So this is for young professionals. The one we have for the MBA is totally different. This is specifically for young professionals. It's a 4-hour workshop for 1 day. So it's not a pre-MBA workshop. And this is just for young professionals that we spoke about. Yes, we have MBA and graduate school, career and admissions, and that's totally different. If you want that, then you should email us. But this is different from that. But yes, the kind of strategies would also be applicable. It's just that the MBA one is much, much more robust because it's a different thing entirely. Tracy.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Hi.
So I'm not even sure if my question is related to CV. It's kind of related to CV writing and everything because Grace helped me to craft my CV. And so far so good. I've been able to get, some feedback from companies.
Okay.
But and then most of the time they just say, we regret, you cannot proceed. Okay, I'm in the UK.
Okay.
So, and then the next thing we hear is, unfortunately, we regret. And for like 2 weeks now, I've been kind of down, because I know that when it comes to so some of them ask me and they say, what visa are you on?
Mhm.
Once I just tell them that, they just say they cannot proceed, blah blah blah. So for a while I really felt bad, because I was getting leadies at some time, but in between they'll just go mute. But yesterday someone for the first time replied to my email and said, you have a great experience, blah blah blah. Like, the person took his time actually to write something positive. That's like the first. Most times they don't even tell me anything, but I know why. But this one said that we're so impressed, and for the very first I'm like, okay, so all my years of experience in Nigeria was not a waste. So I want to say thank you to Grace for that. Like, I feel like, okay, that's a good start. But then in the end, you now wrote, we will not be able to proceed because you do not have a right to work and all that. So how do we move past this stage? What, I don't know if that's related, because you're not supposed to give us visa advice and all that. But when I was discussing with someone, he said, why don't I just write that I have a work visa? And I'm like, would that not be misrepresentation to say that I have a work visa? And then when we get in between, I say, what do I say? Because I really don't know how that part works. Or I should just say I'm still a student, or should I've even asked Grace at the time, should I even just do entry level rules? Maybe if they see that I want to do, like, let me just even start with something at least, because it's a huge market here. So I just want to get into the the white collar job, at least for a start. That's the first question. Secondly, I've been in the UK, they have so many IT rules here. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I should even do, let me even drop this accounting and finance career or whatever. Let me try IT. But then so some people said project management is related to IT. So I started reading. I took some LinkedIn courses. To be honest, that project management is not for me. Like, the theoretical part of it is for me, but the IT part of it, I don't see myself in that field. So my question now is, if you want to have like a mix of IT and finance, how do you put that on your CV to say that, okay, if I'm doing project management, am I just doing the project management part of it that is related to finance, or I'm concentrating on, I don't know.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying. So first, I'll say the main problem is you don't have a job strategy, right?
Okay.
And because you don't have a job strategy, you're just applying like everywhere you get. And yes, having a good resume is good, but not having a job strategy to identify, okay, what companies actually take international students, or what company take people that require visa sponsorship. And I'm not sure you've done a whole lot of networking, have you? So those are also things that play, that actually would raise issues for you. So what we can do is we can have like a one-on-one, or during the, if you want to sign up for the strategy, for the workshop, we can go through and help you develop your job search strategy. We would all work on it together, because it's going to be like hands-on workshop type style. That way you're able to really understand, okay, what exactly am I supposed to focus on? Please do not lie about your work authorization. Please do not lie about your work authorization. You don't have to lie. There are a lot of companies that will take you as somebody coming internationally. So far, you actually have an authorization. So I don't know if you are, like your spouse is in the UK, like what kind of authorization you have. I don't know. You don't have to say that here, right? We can talk about that one back end. But if you actually have like legal authorization in the country, irrespective of what it is, then we can work with, okay, how exactly do we identify the companies that would help, or companies that can sponsor you? And then what exactly, yes, your resume is good, but it goes beyond that. So did you do any resume strategy? Were you able to align like the job descriptions for those roles that were posted? Were you able to include some of the functional skills and put it in your resume? So those are the things that we have to talk about too, but don't worry about it. And then when it comes to IT, information technology is really very broad, right? It's broad. right? So I don't expect you to start learning how to code if you don't want to. Like, if it's something that you're interested in, why not? Like, I work with developers a lot of my role, and I work in the technical side because that's what I want to do, because that's what's interesting to me. But if you're very passionate about accounting and finance, there are a whole lot of opportunities for accounting and finance still in the UK without you having to dive deep into something that you're not interested in. So it all boils down to, what is your strategy? Do you have your strategy written out? Do you follow a particular plan? So it's not just about the resume. Everything has to come together. So I know we're running short on time, and I know Mefua, Larry Adams raised their hands. So Mefua, if you want to come off mute to ask your question, that would be good.
Okay, hi everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the session. I want to just ask, so you said something around like reaching out to companies on LinkedIn, or to people on LinkedIn, like through the company they work for, right? And I think I've always had like a thing with searching for the companies that I want to work with. I think that when you talked about like job strategy, I think I don't have a job strategy, so I would just send my CV everywhere and expect to get a job and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you need to have a job strategy, and then yes, identifying the companies, like all of this information, you can think through. Okay, top technology companies for 2022. What are the big 100 tech companies? And then from following companies on LinkedIn. So apart from looking for the people in the companies, you can follow companies on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Following Amazon and Stripe, you start getting recommendation about other companies that you can follow. But if you don't have that strategy documented organically, it makes it hard for you to go step by step. So I think starting with your job search strategy will be the best way. And then from there, you can now outline to see, okay, what is missing in my resume? What is missing in networking? What is missing with interviewing? And then you're able to plug those things in easily.
Okay.
Did we answer your question?
Yeah, so I wanted, okay, sorry, Mefua. I wanted to, because we're running out of time, I wanted to go back to Toyosi's question. That fine, you're going to have all this whole great thing, do the workshop, have a great resume, how to create your speak well at interviews. Rejections is part of it. It's part of the package. Like, you're going to get rejections, and you shouldn't let your rejections. If I show you my Gmail, if I type, we regret to inform you, or unfortunately, you don't see them like this. So rejections are part of it. Another thing is, a lot of companies use ATS to screen these resumes, so that you are applying, especially when you're applying to like very juicy roles like Amazon, that maybe for one role they can receive 1,000 applications. So you need to take that job description, you need to go to is it Word Cloud, I don't know what it's called, to pick out the keywords and make sure that you can infuse those keywords into your bullet points. And then back to what you said about tech project management. That's the thing about this whole tech thing. You just see this one tell you product management, somebody will go there. Project, this one, you are there, software developer. So you see people learning a lot of things that you're not even having a target. So as a finance professional, I know you love financial reports and everything. What are the other tech skills that you can use to? You don't have to go all the way to project management. Maybe you need to learn data analytics tools, like how to use Power BI, because you're going to be using a lot of data. So check those roles. Are you sure you don't need to upskill? Because even now, I work in capital markets in Canada, and some of the roles I'm now seeing for the level I want to go higher, right? And I'm checking roles, internal roles and external roles, and I'm seeing just have a knowledge of Python and SQL, or have a knowledge of Power BI. So, and if I know that I can just have try to because those are the roles I'm interested in, right? I can start maybe trying to learn how to do Power BI. So don't really, when people say tech, you don't have to just throw everything that you have bounce. But even if you want to bounce, let's say for example you're a nurse and you want to become a software developer, I've seen people that have made that kind of transition. So your skills are still valuable. There's so many things. Like I have had a client that worked for a call center and she was frustrated and she wanted to move into BA, and she did this crash course, this BA crash course that they do, and then she had a project that she could use to claim. So what we're able to do was all her past experience and customer service, what are the skills that she had that she developed there that could be of value to her as a BA. So we're able to tailor our resume to that. So you don't really have to, don't just go with the wind. Whatever it is you want to do, don't just go and have PMP and realize that I have certifications that I did in Canada that today I'm just like, you wasted money, you wasted time. I could have just used watch series, use all the time, because it's not relevant to me. So you need to, that's why you have to have a strategy. What's your job strategy? What are the things you can be of added advantage? Don't just follow one advice on Twitter. Before you know it, you've left everything you do. You're already in one software developer class. After 2 months, they say it's product management is the in thing. You are there. So you need to have a clear strategy of what you want. And rejections are seen. Unfortunately, we regret to inform you, we've moved on. And the ones that won't even give you, in fact, there was a job I applied for, right? I got reject email before I even got confirmation that I applied for the role. So I'm like, what I guess three. So rejections are going to be part of it. Don't just take it personal. Don't take it personal at all. Yeah.
Thank you, Grace. Before, I'm not sure if I know you were saying something, so I'm not sure if you got all of your questions answered.
No worries. Yeah, I think I probably just have to like have a job strategy session or something.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So if you want to speak to us to learn more about what the workshop is going to be about, you can email coaching@titanrconsulting.com, and feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn if you want. Remember, add a note. That's what we taught today. If you don't add a note, I'm not going to be able to know who you are, and I will most likely not accept you. So, and that's nothing personal. That's just it. So you need to practice to make sure that you connect with people and you add a note to introduce yourself so that people understand, like, okay, this is the reason why this person wants to connect with me. Okay. So let us know if you want to learn more about the workshop. We've included the link to apply to the bit.ly link to apply to the workshop. So register for the workshop if you're interested. It's going to be at the 30th of April. And it's going to be really hands-on. So this is not a workshop that you can take on the road, take on your phone. You need to have your laptop with you. You have to be in a place where you can fully concentrate, because you're going to be doing the work as we're teaching you, because that's the only way you're able to get the value from it. So if we don't have any other questions, Sean Salami, you raised your hands. Yeah, so you can come off mute. And after Sean, if you don't have any other questions, because we're already 3 minutes over time, we are all like, thank you so much. Grace and I are very happy to have spoken to you all today. If you want to speak to us or you want to have a one-on-one with us, send us.
Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you, Sean. Yes, Sean, you are mute. But
okay. I wanted to ask a question earlier. I said, is it better to get certifications before seeking international jobs, or can you start the search based on the current experience that you have?
Yeah.
But so, I see that
Grace responded.
Someone would say, please do a lot of research to be sure of the right certification.
Yeah. So before,
can you expatiate, please?
Yeah. So before you think about doing certification, your job search strategy must come first. You need to identify the kind of roles that you are interested in first. You need to identify what the requirements are, right? You don't just go ahead to start doing certifications when you don't even have a strategy. What if you start your strategy and then you just figure out that you don't even need any of these certifications? One big thing about international roles is it's not just about the certifications, it's about what you can do. Can you do this thing? It's much better than, do I have a certificate that says I can do it? They want to see how you have done it. Evidence that you have done it, as against you just have a certification. So having your job search strategy first, identifying the roles that you want in the companies that you are interested in, looking at the job description. So you could do like a search for like maybe 5 or 6 different job descriptions across different companies or for the same roles, and actually do like a trend analysis to say, what are the things that are required? What are the things here? Like, do we require some certain things? And for some of them, they don't even require certifications. They might just say, oh, we require somebody to have a knowledge of Python and to have a knowledge of Power BI. And then you just go to LinkedIn Learning, you kind of just ramp up on it. That means you have a knowledge. Doesn't mean you have a certificate that says, oh, I actually went to school to study Power BI. It just means that I'm able to leverage Power BI, which is just a visualization dashboard. So having the strategy first, understanding what is required of you is the first step before you think through what you're going to do at all. Because if you don't have that strategy, then you're just going to be lost and you're going to be tired and you're going to be weak at the end of the day. Sean, did that answer your question?
Yes.
You were not talking. Okay. All right. So send us an email, coaching@titanrconsulting.com. Sign up for the workshop bit.ly/workshop Titan R. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. We will be sending you an email in the next 48 hours with the link to the video. It's going to be posted on our YouTube channel. You can share with your friends, you can share with your family, and don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms to stay informed of all of the amazing things that we have for you. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tomi. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Grace. Bye.